Proactive is a 27-year-old consultancy and reseller focused on the network domain, and particularly, of course, more and more, like everyone, security, the security aspect of networking. Proactive has reps like me sprinkled around the U.S. and based in headquarters is in Salt Lake City in Utah. We are hardware, software resellers, and also offer services as well, sometimes through our own engineering staff, sometimes using third parties. Why contact Rusty? Convenience. We are we can be a single source for you. To literally, a pipeline literally to hundreds of software and hardware folks. I can be your one phone call guy. Some of you don't have my business card. I happen to have a few that I'll hand you after we're through. This will be your ticket to a sandwich. How's that? Rusty, who is a great guy? That's important too, right? Great guy. Right, Dev? Yes, great guy. Absolutely. I actually like to shop, and what this is a good example that actually I'm engaged in with one of our clients now. Say, Rusty, I'm looking for network monitoring software. Please help. Send me my choices and prices. Click, and then I go to work. I really enjoy doing that, primarily because I always learn a lot in the process. We are very competitive price-wise because we have up to 27-year-old relationships with lots of our partners. That enables us to buy at a very deep discount, which of course we're happy to pass along because we must stay competitive. We wouldn't be in business if we weren't very competitive price-wise. And here's probably the most important reason: Rusty feeds me. I fed those of you who were here last week. I will feed you today. Most important reason. Here are some of our more recognizable partners on the screen, and a big red circle around Beyond Security. Who are they? Some of you may know, some of you may not know. Oh, and by the way, yes, I'm sorry, there you go. Nathan Chan is on the telephone, hopefully, or coming out of the speakers in the big screen here. Nathan is senior sales engineer for Beyond Security. He is in Los Angeles. Say good morning, Nathan.
Morning, gentlemen. I'm actually not on the phone. I got hung up. Can you hear me through the computer?
Yes,
okay.
Very well. Thank you. Beyond Security has been into automated security testing tools, as you see, almost 20 years, since 1999. ABDS is what we're going to be talking about here this morning, and what you're going to see Nathan present interface-wise in just a minute. It is their automated vulnerability assessment management tool, competitor to Rapid7, Qualys, Tenable/Nessus. Some of you probably deal with some of those every day, or have in the past. The second thing Beyond Security does is BStorm. It's a sister to ABDS. BStorm is a DAST tool. It is the same thing, vulnerability assessment at the developmental software level. If any of you are into developmental software, or at your companies there's a dev group, they need a tool like BStorm, or ideally BStorm, to test their software as it's in development before they hang it up for general consumption and find out then that it's got some holes. If you're not familiar with securateam.com, please don't go to it now on your laptops, or that's what you'll spend your time doing and you won't see the presentation. It is one of the world's oldest and fullest vulnerability databases. I do want you to jot it down, or if you have a steel trap of a memory, remember, secureteam.com. It doesn't cost anything. It was started and developed and is still very alive, very much a living and breathing vulnerability database website. Yes, sir.
How is it different from VirusTotal?
Pardon me?
VirusTotal. VirusTotal is there, right? VirusTotal. Like Google owns this site called VirusTotal, which has got all the vulnerabilities in the world.
All the vulnerability database.
It may pull things from Secure Team.
No, VirusTotal to check malware files. The vulnerability database is something like if you have Apache ISS vulnerability and let it fly.
Thank you.
Thank you, VP. Global offices around the world with headquarters in San Jose. Although San Jose is all moving to Austin, aren't they? Approved scanning vendor for PCI compliance. I know that PCI is near and dear to a lot of your hearts here in the room. Beyond Security is one of the around 100 companies worldwide who are ASVs for PCI compliance. Here are a few of their more noteworthy customers. You may see some folks that you are working with, have some experience with. AVDS is much more than a vulnerability assessment tool. It does get into a variety of management aspects. One important way is the hierarchy that you can create. All your customers, departments, organizations, users. You just think of them as Windows folders and set up your VAM domain to your liking, to your needs. AVDS has a out of the box now I've lost the acronym, API out of the box that you can either use to integrate with other systems, ticketing systems, other SIEM systems, or at no charge whatsoever. Beyond Security will make the integration for you between AVDS's output and your other security system or systems. AVDS will discover unknown assets as it does its job. When I win with AVDS in a competitive situation, it's almost always because of its strength of reporting. And you'll get a good dose of reporting with Nathan here in a sec. You will love the reporting. Of course, again, out of the box, industry standard report formats, HIPAA, SOX, and so on. Again, out of the box, a lot of organizational reports, executive reports, remediation reports. And if all of those aren't enough, you can create your own reports. You have the ability to create custom reports. Another reason I win with AVDS is its accuracy. That's the primary reason that Beyond Security was founded 20 years ago. Was for those of you who have been around and remember the infancy of vulnerability assessment, it wasn't a good childhood. There were lots of inaccuracies. The report, you needed a wheelbarrow for the reports, for the vulnerability reports. The fellows that founded Beyond Security wanted to tackle those two things, and they've done quite well, as you see here. Industry's lowest false positives at 0.01%. That's one out of every 10,000, 100,000, 10,000, 100,000. 10,000. One out of every 10,000 vulnerabilities will be a false positive. And you get a $100 bounty. If you're using another automated vulnerability assessment system, ask them if you get a bounty of $100 for every false positive you find. It'll probably be a short conversation. Behavioral analysis is the reason that AVDS is so accurate. they test a host to see how, and then see how it responds to the tests, rather than just simply looking at banners or headers. Like most of AVDS's competition, testing by versions or headers or banners, whatever you call them, they're easy to program by the vendor, and they can produce a great long list of vulnerabilities. But just because a header has a certain version doesn't really reflect the presence or the absence of a security issue with the accuracy that you folks need. Now, testing through behavioral analysis, again, it's the most accurate indicator because each of the tests has been carefully and specifically created. And again, it's all about how the host responds to the test. And there again is the notion of just next to 0 false positives, and if you find one, you get $100 for each one you find. Nobody else is going to do that. Another reason I win with AVDS in the past is that it's so easy to deploy and so easy to use. Some of Beyond Security's customers are external scanning only, outside the perimeter. That's fine, cloud only for external scanning. Combination of cloud and appliance inside the firewall, of course, for external and internal scanning. And I've got a little cartoon here at the bottom. That's by far their most popular deployment. And then some folks are still in the on-prem business, and there is an on-prem solution as well that is not, that doesn't have anything to do with the cloud. All of you could probably have drawn this for me. Up in the cloud, you've got your account, the information server, which manages the scanner, which is over here. Talk about it in a second. And then a scanning server here for the folks that want to do just external scanning. So the firewall, as well as anything that may be outside the perimeter, web server perhaps. And then via HTTP, HTTPS through the firewall to what we call the LSS, local scanning server here. That's one of the choices, 1U rack mount. They've also got a brick, 7 by 7 inch portable, or VM version to load on your own device that you can use inside the firewall. And let's see, let's turn Nathan loose.
Hey, John, can you hear me? Can you hear me clearly?
For some reason you've oh, no signal. Why did that happen?
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you in my laptop. I'd rather hear you through the speakers.
Okay, my phone. Okay, I got hung up on the phone, so maybe you can call me back.
I need to call you back?
Yeah, because after the last step on the phone, I got hung up.
Oh, okay.
Are you sharing your desktop? Or?
Yeah. Let's see. New call. Where's previous call? Who knows? New call. New call. That's okay.
Yeah, these are data.
Okay. Yeah, there we go. All right.
Do you hear me?
Yeah, I need to turn you down on my laptop, but
You share your desktop.
yeah, I lost the signal to the web session for some reason.
Okay, my thing still says you're here, and you are. My Zoom thing says that you're still here.
Okay, there we go. All right, we have your, oh, we don't have your, why don't I have a signal? Do you know why it's not projecting?
Yeah, that's it. Can you share? How do you share it? Yeah.
Duplicate.
Room full of technicians.
Yeah. I didn't have to do that earlier, it's just.
No, that is a PowerPoint. PowerPoint, you know, takes care of it. If you are doing from a website,
Here comes. Whiteboard wanted to show up.
Oh, there's that, but that's my wallpaper.
Interesting.
Or move the window towards right or left.
Did you get that at an art site somewhere?
Huh?
Get that at an art site somewhere?
Grand Canyon.
Oh,
Oh, I don't know.
No, I don't need that, headaches.
Thank you. Because I was working with them, so after some time I feel like I'm stuck.
Can you drag the window towards the side line?
I have this set up as dual screen at my house.
Towards right, drag
this?
yeah. Right to the bottom. Yeah.
Thank you.
This way.
All right, Nathan, we're ready.
Okay, excellent. Do you see the pie chart at the top part of the screen?
Yes.
Yes, we do.
Okay.
Hey, fellas,
Thank you.
we're going. Thank you. Move up if you need to hear better or see better.
If there's questions, Rusty, you may have to speak for them because the audio from the room sounds like I'm in the middle of the big room, so it may be hard for me to hear people once they're right up against the microphone. So if your questions, you might have to ask them.
I understand.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So this ABS, this is the the automated vulnerability detection system. There are two parts to it, as Rusty explained to you. This is called, the part you're seeing here is called the information server. The information server is the command and control portion of ABS. This is where you set up your scans, run your scans, pull your reports. It does everything except the actual scanning. The part that does the scanning is a separate section, a separate second piece called the local scanning server, the LSS. The LSS resides inside your network, so you can run scans inside the network. We also offer a version in the cloud so you can run external scans. The LSS we offer to you in 3 forms. We can offer to you in a DM, in a portable, and as a rec. The IS, the part you see here, is the cloud version. So you have, as long as the LSS can access the internet and talk to get out to the internet, you can talk to our cloud, IS. Or if you desire to host it yourself, you can do so. So we have an internal version in a rack mount or portable form, which you can host yourself. So that way you don't have to deal with the cloud. So the part you're seeing here again is the information server. This is the home page of the information server. This contains tables. It contains charts of different types. You can see here a pie chart of the different types of vulnerabilities that an organization has found that exist in an organization. We can also give you charts of which host has the lowest scores, which is score 0 is a bad thing. This is a vulnerability type, which is how we define our test. The different categories to define our test. We can show you the most vulnerable hosts. And we have many tables down below. This is not an exhaustive demonstration of everything, but what the important thing is, you have the ability to fit this within your whatever your needs are. So you can put whatever information you want, so that you can have access to it, and you can customize this to fit your organization's needs. The most important widget that we have here is on the upper left-hand corner. It's called Create New Scan. This is where you set up scans. You give it a name, some sort of description that you know what it means. The range, very flexible here. You can put a range in as a CEDAR listing, like 0/24. It could be a range at 0, like 1-20. It could be a comma delineated list. It could be a comma delineated list of IP addresses, of host names, of SPNs. So whatever it is that you want to scan gets put into this box. You select your organization that you'd like to put the scan in. You choose the LSS. In this case, we have 2 cloud scanners available and an internal scanner. You have a contact, which is a person or persons who will receive notifications when a scan begins, when the scan finishes, and then if there's a difference between the current scan and the previous scan. You did not only just get an email, you also will receive a report. And I'll show you some examples of reports in a few minutes. The schedule is when you want the scan to run. So you can have it run now. You have it run daily. You have it run weekly. If you run weekly, you can choose the day of the week. If monthly, you can choose the day of the month. I'll show you another page in a second where you have further control with more granularity over how to run the scan. So if this is ready, you can click on Create, and you're taken to this page. This page is scan settings. The scan that you just created will be listed here. The scan name. The LSS you selected will be here, but you can change it if you want. The organization that you have the scan under is here, but you can change that also if you want. The list, in this case, is comma delineated list of IP addresses will be here. Then, by default, we run what are called uncredentialed or unauthenticated scans, which means that the scanner has no knowledge of any authentication, doesn't know any usernames or user passwords. You have the ability here, if you have a Windows machine, if you have a Windows network, if you have a domain admin, you can give a domain admin username and password, or ideally create a separate special domain admin user for the scanner. If you have Linux boxes, you have the ability to add hosts by giving you a host name here and a port number, and you also have the ability to show give a username and password for each host that you have, and also the ability to give how to elevate your privileges, either sudo or supraduper. Here is another listing, another way to show the listing of your IP addresses. And we have additional settings here. By default, ping host is checked. What this means is that from the list that we that put down, be it a range or common delineated, we will ping it. If it does not respond to ping, we will not scan it. If you uncheck ping host, we will scan every single list, regardless if it's there or not. And we will, it's because we won't ping it to check to see if it's actually there. The port range by default is the top 1,024 ports plus other well-known ports. By clicking on full port range, you get all 65,000 plus ports. By the way Leon Security uses the term, we define this when we scan all ports as a pen test. So common question we have to ask when we hear the word pen test, and we want pen testing, is we have to ask, what do you mean by pen test? We do not have a person. We don't offer that service of a person running a pen test like either CEH or a person with an OSCP. It's just an automated machine that scans all 65,000 plus ports and runs testing and follow, and runs testing and follow ports when we get some sort of response. And here we have customization. So you have additional settings here if you want to fit around Nmap, which we don't recommend unless you're an expert. You also have the ability to click on banner-based checks, which we don't recommend either because you will have false positives. By default, you cannot check banners. We have other settings here for reporting. What kind of report do you want? We give you the format, PDF or XML, for reports we send you. We can send you a complete report, which is our default. We can send you a filtered report, which gives you the ability to select aspects of the report that you like to send, like, for example, risk of greater than or equal to medium vulnerability. So you get the mediums and the highs. Or you can look for a certain IP address or service report. You have the ability to customize your report any way you wish. For scheduling, this is probably the most important one here. You have the ability to run, again, this is a test run day. You run it every day, every second day, every third day. For weekly, you choose the days of the month you want it to run, and the days of the week you want it to run it every week, second week, every third week. For monthly, you can choose the day of the month, or you can choose the week of the day of the month, like the third Thursday, and select what month you want it to run. For each of these, you have a setting below, where you have a green line and a red line, where the green line represents when, in this case, when the scan can start. So this scan is set to start anytime between midnight and 2 a.m. If the scan is still running after 2 a.m., it will finish. It will continue running. If you decide to use a different setting, green is active period, red is inactive, then the scan will run only between midnight and 2. And when it gets to 2 o'clock, 2 a.m., it will stop. Do you have any questions so far about what you've seen?
No. Questions so far?
Okay. Under status, you have the ability to see the progress of what's going on. This little box here will tell you what the scan is currently doing. If it's running a port scan or running vulnerability, what percentage, and which IP address it's finished. Now let me show you another page. This is this is called result summary. Result summary is where you see all the results of the scans of that have been run under your organization. So we have an organization called Beyond Secure. We have underneath an organization called External Host, another one called General Products, Large Corporations, and if you've read Larry Nimitz, actually that's where I stole the name from. Under General Products, there are other organizations underneath. Under design is hardware and software. There's engineering, IT, and under IT is external. Under external is customer, and so forth. There's another organization called Mesa Medium LLC, and another one called Harvest Small, and another one called Your Company. So what AVDF enables you to do is if you have, for example, multiple sites, you can have an organization for each site. You can have multiple scans under any organization. You're not limited to one. Like, for example, here we have 2 scans under each organization. You can also, within an organization, divide it up into functional, which is what I did here for General Products. Or if you want to, if it's your workflow better, you can divide it up into assets. You can have, for example, an organization for servers, one for phones, one for devices, one for your DNC. So you have the freedom to define how you want to organize your scans so that you can see, so you can measure your organizational, you can measure organizational risk. So for example here, let me go up to the top again. So Beyond Secure, the entire organization Beyond Secure, there's 79 hubs. All the hubs are below. So all the numbers roll up to this total. Under general products, there are 23 hubs, which are divided up among all the organizations beneath. Design has one, hardware is one, so therefore so under design is only one hub. So in this way, we see how you can, for example, if you want to see how your IT department